Hey guys, what up? What up? How we doing? Oh, we have what will be some SS21 attempts in a bit. But now, before then, I want to do some. I want to do some grinding, some farming, if you will. The goal for today, honestly, is to try to beat SS21. We've been, I won't say we've been stalling, but we've kind of been stalling on it for a bit. The requirements on that fight are ridiculous. Like when I say ridiculous, I mean actually ridiculous. So lately, I have been, um, well, there's one thing I have been trying to do, which is, well, now you're expensive. What the hell? But I have switched this mod to less damage at low mana. The idea here is less damage at low mana should, in theory, oh, goddamn, that's expensive. Less damage at low mana should apply to hits as well as dots. So this is cheaper by a bit. And I do like my cheaper. So let's get this. Flawless skin. Oh, they're both flawless skins then. All right, let's see this. Wish me luck. T0, come on. That delay kind of baited me. Bro. Bro. I'm gonna need y'all to focus, all right? We're done the 3. Ooh. You know what? We'll call it for now. This is the second time I'm getting T1. The first time I got a bottom row 12. Now it's a 13. I'm not about to go trying for a 15. And I'm also not going to divine that item because that shit's expensive. So what we're going to do now is, like I said, we're going to farm. We're going to reset this. And we're likely going to spend like the first, I want to say the first hour-ish farming. Then the attempts will begin. I spent a very good chunk of the day doing it, and the worst part is there were moments where I got to like 30% of his life, so I know it is doable. What is happening? What is this lag? Why are we lagging? What is that? There's an annoying lag right now, and I don't fully understand why. I do not know why. Stream seems to be doing good, so I can't. So it's not just the internet or something. But I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see. 11.5k an hour, surely, right? I need to buy a full set of. What is that? Okay, we're going to restart the game. We're just going to restart it, all right? We're not doing that. The client has been open for quite a bit. So let me chalk it up to, has he actually been open a lot? It hasn't actually, because I feel like I just opened it when I started my stream, which really makes me question why it is being slow. Jesus, what is going on? It has to be my connection. Now it's just not connecting. Stream is doing fine. So like, is it just servers? Like, what's going on here? Let me see if I can find.
We have many friends. One, two.
Do I have to restart my client again? Or restart it again? Because I can see Don the Crown chilling on Pack Spirit's menu. So I have to assume it's just me. Keep in mind, I have no issues actually putting up the stream. It's playing, anything like that. It's just, for some reason, this is just lagging for reasons unbeknown to me. Like, I have zero idea why. Like, what? Why? Why is this happening? Like, look at that. Let me check something real quick. Suddenly better. I didn't change anything. I just checked what connection I was on. Nothing else changed. Nothing actually changed. Hmm.
Welcome to the Clockwork Ballet. How can I help you?
Conflicts carry the weight of both honor and shame.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Actually made changes to my build today, which is why, as you would notice, there's green on my health bar. We actually do have unreserved health now. And what I did was I moved my skills around so that we could get a bit more origin on what's his face on Rock Magi. I didn't realize, like, ooh, please be good, please be money. I don't think it's that insane, but it does look like it's at least an amount of money. So I will not complain. What I noticed that I didn't realize before, I thought Rock Magi and Erosion Magi had the same number when it comes to their less damage taken, but no, actually, it takes a bit more origin effect for Rock to cap its less hit damage. So unlike Erosion, which caps at like 430 increase, Rock caps at like 510 ish, because it gives 8.3 instead of 9.3, 9.2 of the erosion. So you need to get to 500, and now I'm at like 490. So that was a very decent tank boost for me. I also moved a Magi from my active slot to my aura slots. By doing that, I replaced the now free active spots with an empower that was close in number with the what I was getting from the auras. But the big difference, and the reason I did this, is because now, because we have two Magi on auras and we have and we have the DPS Magi here, we're able to run precise concentrated, which is Giga Aura effect when we have only two auras. And while two auras are Energy Fortress and the DPS aura, then this two are technically defensive auras, technically, but this has offensive benefits as well. Then again, this is what replaced the aura technically. And this is giving us like 61% more damage. Whereas the aura, was like 66% more damage, something like that. But by replacing a gem with precise concentrated, it's even better now. By just replacing this with precise concentrated, I would say the aura that's left probably is now like the overall DPS increase. There's an overall DPS increase because that is more effect on the one that's left, a lot more effect. And we also have on reserve life. We still had to like reserve this guy on life simply because reserving him on life meant we were not on full life for the chest piece, and I wanted to be able to run concentrated instead of steel conversion on energy fortress. So that's kind of how that ended up working the way it did. And with the leftover that we have, we took points out of sealed mana compensation because it's just not needed anymore, and we put it into ES here and ES here. So that was like why I'm now at 12k resting ES with my full DPS Pack Spirit setup, yada yada yada. And like I said, I also did the thing where my chest now has less damage taken, so less dot, albeit a smaller number, but 13% less damage taken is a significant amount of less damage taken when it comes to my defenses. So we no longer get one shots, but like those last phases, they get very, very spicy. Like when I say very spicy, it is very messed up. So we'll do some. I got very close to beat to 2-starring it today, so I'm hoping that we can do it on stream. What I would like to do first is I want to get some upgrades that will make it easier, but I don't know if I have it in me to farm like 2k. That's 2k is a lot. Not 2k, 20k rather. 2k is easy. 20k not so much. This is the part of running less duration that I don't really like. I don't see why I'm getting to 2 minutes when I have less duration on. I shouldn't be able to get to 2 minutes, but I'm so efficient with my damage that, well, shit happens. What is this? Bless monster, or we'll go with compass, additional compass. Like I even have the time to do all the sandlord I need to do for everything, and I still have way more item than I realistically need. Ooh.
Just like that. Welcome to the Clockwork Ballet. How can I help you? Emerging.
Conflicts carry the weight of both honor and shame.
What up, Hollow Edge? How you doing?
Not scary. It's just a long, long time of loneliness.
So, oh yeah, I also forgot to mention in the SS20 fights or 21 fights, I have done so much. I've done it so much that I now know how to, with 100% success rate, gets him to actually aggro on my minions, which is kind of crazy that I've done it so much. I'm just like, yeah, every single attempt now he's aggroing my minions, which is a very big load off my chest. I will say that, but it's also not, unironically. You would think it's a very big advantage, and it is, don't get me wrong. It actually is, having him taunted and whatnot. But another problem with it is dot placement seems to be on the rougher side when he's targeting your minions, because your minions don't give a fuck about placement. Now, granted, when he's targeting me, I don't take enough damage to actually be able to place it properly, but it does mean if you're willing to fine-tune or finagle with your minions movement or positioning, you can have some pretty good success, essentially. Let's get some more beacons. 3-7.
Good luck. You unlucky? Well, I look forward to working with you.
Well, I didn't plan on taking this one, but we have 5 cogwheels in this map.
Welcome to Cloud Oasis. Hey! You look like someone we need working for the Oasis. I promise I'll exploit every ounce of you.
Yeah, so we're still in this. That's 3. Oh shit, diamond. I can maybe try one more. It's risky, but I can try one more. God damn it. Okay. So it is what it is. I shouldn't have gotten greedy. Roulette is so rough to actually get something of value out of it. Cause like I could have gone out with the rainbow compass voucher, but it felt like such a waste to just, cause like at that point I'm at what, 30% chance to fail, something like that. 30 or 40% chance to fail. That was the 4th cogwheel out of 5, and I think it starts off with 0% chance to fail. So I think I was at 30. I guess that one was 40% chance to fail by activating it. So, 6 out of 10 times I should have won there, but we don't live in that outcome now, do we? Oh well. Can I ask you about FE per hour? See some old guide references 600 FE per hour. Now I see 2K, 3K. What's good? Like, what is currently good, like considered good FE per hour? Or like, what are you asking me for the farms themselves, or like what's a good ballpark range? Because like old guides, at least pre FE trackers, kind of just went off of manually calculating profits, and I would say on average we were probably making less. Ooh, boss fights. I didn't think we are gonna get this. This is our first boss fight of the season. I don't know how to feel about that. I kind of forgot it existed. Relative to T7, T8, Profound, I would say it depends on the stage of the league, but currently I would say what's good for Profound is about anywhere from 2K an hour is good for Profound. For T8s, 1500, 1100 to like 15 to like 1800 is good for T8s. And for T7, 800 I would say is probably good. Early league, these numbers are going to be lower because in T7 you're making less, but the lower the amount is worth can get you more. I like that I can just AFK, kind of. I wonder if I can actually tank some things. Am I willing to die? Probably not. Oh, there. I ate the explosion.
What's that?
Ooh. Clenched spring. Please, please, please be expensive. Ho 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 ho. Beautiful. We'll take it. We shall take it. 950. What about ID'd? ID'd and unID'd at the same price? ID'd is more expensive? The fuck? Okay. Okay. We're gonna check. We're gonna check. Bottom row, Jesus, man. We bottom rolled everything. Um, 1080 p. Let's see if it sells. The fact that that was my first boss fight makes me think that boss fight is way too fucking rare. Like what the hell? What do you actually mean that was? I hate this one so much. I'm not gonna touch it. What do you mean this is the first time I'm seeing that boss? And I've done so much clockwork this season. Like actually so much. But yeah, although that's what I would consider good for the different stages. Honestly, T7 might honestly even be able to get up to like 1K depending on how fast you are, or how fast your build can boss rush and whatnot. But yeah, now that we have tracking apps versus like before, people are a lot more conscious of FE per hour earnings and just doing stuff that is worth your time, if you will. And it's funny because there's actually a good conversation that can be had on if it's actually a good thing that people are as conscious about FE per hour as these tools enable. But I would say personally that I think it's a good thing. I think not knowing how much you're actually making slash underestimating slash overestimating, is very important to know if you should be making progress or not. Like if I do a strat and I only end up coming out of it with, let's say it takes me 2 hours, 3 hours, and I come out with like 500 FE profits. I know that's ass. And I know that because of it, I don't expect to like make that many upgrades as a result. But if I come out with 5k profit, I'm thinking, okay, maybe we can shop, maybe we can do this, maybe we can do that, and I have a decent idea of how much I have to work with once I liquidate, which is I think a very powerful I think it's very powerful. Yep, Fury went through same phase, the X per hour versus X per map debates. I think per hour is it doesn't tell the full story as you might imagine. Per hour is dependent on a lot of factors. Strats that are 2k per hour for me might be 1500 for someone else, might be 2500 for someone else if they're able to clear that many more maps than I do. Like if I was Iris 2 and I was jumping around with rock form, my FE per hour on average would just be way higher. Why? Because I am moving faster. You know, I don't have to pay the God of War tax. I can do certain things that actually just benefit me on the markets over someone else. And if I had to share that strat, and I as an Irish too, I'm sharing, oh, this strat is 2k FE, 3k FE an hour. Well, you try it on your Moto 2, who gets minus movement speed. You see I'm not taking God of War, so you don't take God of War. Now for every 100 maps I do, you're doing 30 maps, and then you wonder why you're at 1k an hour versus my 3k an hour, you know. Whereas if we go for the per map, then you kind of have a decent idea what to expect. But per map is also flawed, because per map is, if you get a big ticket item, that heavily swings per map in a way that it doesn't quite swing per hour as much, because per hour, if you play for 2 hours, 3 hours, it's going to dilute that FE per hour, right? It's going to dilute how much is contributing to the per hour. Whereas the per map, I guess per map will also get diluted, but it doesn't tell the story of if it's this strat is a long, you're pitfalling until you finally get your big item, and now you're in the greens, and then you're now in the red again until you get your big drop, you know, you get lucky, stuff like that. Per map doesn't do that justice, because you see that and you think, oh, you should be making 45 a map. Okay, cool. You load up your first map, you go minus 30, you're like, okay, that is very different from the plus 45 I was expecting, but like, we'll go again. Next map you run it, you go minus 25, and like, okay. Next map, you go minus again, and you're just like, okay. And then you keep doing this, and you just keep going minus, and then you go one that's positive, but then it's positive like 5. And in your head, you're thinking, what the fuck is happening? What am I doing wrong? You are the reality of the situation. You've just not gone long enough to get your lucky item that will balance out your earnings. So neither of those stats are good, or are good in isolation, I should say. Neither of them are good in isolation. With more context, both of them are very powerful tools. It's just interesting because, like, from a content creator point of view, I mean, I don't make strats, like farming strats. Best I do is I post what I farm, and you know, if you want to follow that, then you're more than welcome to. But that is the extent of which I post. But to be able to properly get, you know, I won't say clickbait, but gets people to watch your video, you definitely have to you need to give them a reason to watch it. And for any strats video, earnings is the #1 selling point. But there is a very, very nice appeal of saying, oh, this strat gives you 20 3k FE an hour versus, oh, this track gives you 30 FE a map. You know?
What's that?
One carries a lot more weight and will have your video actually clicked on. The other kind of sounds ass. But like, in 100 maps, you still make 3k. And if you do 100 maps in an hour, then that is still, you know, 3k an hour. But one just sounds way better than the other. So I get it. I feel like if I was in the same situation, I'd still use FE per hour. Because even now, I use FE per hour because I like to know how much value I'm getting for my playtime. Like, effective playtime at least. I don't want to know how much I'm making per map. I don't really care. Like, if I only consumed in per map, I would probably care more. But I don't really care about per map. And if somebody were to tell me they're making 45 a map, that's not telling me how long your maps are. That's not telling me a lot of different things. So I would neither be impressed nor disappointed. I just be like, oh, that's cool. Nice. You know, good for you. Ooh, Duroproc, beautiful, beautiful. 45 per map, 5-minute maps. Exactly. It's like, oh shit, 45 per map, then you realize you're only doing 20 maps an hour. It's like, so you after a full hour, you'd only get 900 FEA. Okay. Okay. I really hate waiting for the 20-second thing. I kind of wish there was a way to actually just get rid of time from clockwork. Because like, I intentionally don't take that below 20 seconds anymore. Because if I did, I'd have to just wait around for 20 seconds because why not? The game deems that I have to wait those 20 seconds. Keep in mind, I am not running the time gain portion of the clockwork tree. The only thing I have spec'd is the bottom row that reduces the amount of time I'm getting per mob kill. The one that actually incentivizes. Okay, I didn't touch it, thankfully. The one that incentivizes low time when you turn it in. That's what I'm using. But like, I don't know. I didn't mean to touch that. But like, by the time I finish this, I'll have like 140, and all of a sudden it's way too. I'm not waiting for that to get my bonus. I don't know how to feel about it. On the one hand, I am so powerful that I don't need to care, that I don't have to worry about time limits. On the other hand, I'm just losing rewards because now I can't wait. Because I'd rather go into the next map than wait 40 seconds so I finally get a drop quantity boost. Like, you know? Like in that time I'd be waiting. I'm already in my next map. I'm already queuing up the next clockwork. Oh shit, this map actually is going to have 7 cogwheels. We might have to it might ask us to wait a bit.
Perhaps we can be friends once you've turned to dust.
Enjoy this moment. The champion deserves the honor.
The winds will blow away all traces.
Bruh. The good thing is I was able to stop kill time during the league mechanic at least.
What's that?
Ooh.
The airship is ready. Shall we review the work at the Oasis now?
We don't actually have gliders to send, but that being said, I am thinking of just sending it anyways with what's left of my coins. But I would rather not spend any more coins unless I were to get coins, because from tomorrow, well, we're going to spend way less time farming until the weekend. So I need to make sure I don't touch that hourglass.
Enjoy this moment. The champion deserves the honor.
You said you're gonna do full send Sandlord. I said I was going to not full send like the shippers. I said I was going to send my Sandlord anyways. So like I'm going to use my gold to send gliders, even though we have no free Sandlord gliding left. I've used all 3 charges of my gliding, so the next set is going to cost me 25k glider to send. So I'm just trying to make sure I have enough gold to do that, because I have like 26 days left. That being said, though, from what you just said, like full send, I could honestly do that. I can see myself doing it at least. I haven't actually done a big shipment like that this league. I've mostly been completing orders, and for what it's worth, that has made me a fair amount of money from Utopia Island. But I always like my big shipments as well, so we'll see what I decide to do. Maybe I just decide to do it anyways. Especially if I'm going to be busy the next few days. Probably not a bad idea.
Enjoy this moment. The champion deserves the honor.
Alice, I needed you to proc there. greater than 20 seconds, I'll take that in a heartbeat. Because it's so easy for me to do. Once the first cogwheel is done, even the first cogwheel, I still was able to do it. Oh shit, I just realized my time is actually...
Don't worry, that world is not scary. It's just a long, long time of loneliness.
Enjoy this moment. The champion deserves the honor.
The winds will blow away all traces of your existence.
Now Alice procs. At least you have a purple. You know what? I won't complain. Alice has had some pretty nutty procs today. So there was this one proc we had earlier today where it was like 100 FE liquid, like just raw FE on the ground. And I'm just like, yeah, you know what? She has earned... She has earned my goodwill. Even when she doesn't proc, she's chilling. She'll proc when... Hopefully she procs when I really need her to. Because if I get a lot of compasses, you know, I don't remember what it is I picked up, if I'm being honest. I don't know what option I chose.
Perhaps we can be friends once you've turned to. I promise I'll explore every ounce of you. You look like someone we need. What a rare talent! Oh, my golden ticket! Guess I'll be able to scrap this dingy glider and
I don't see how I will be able to do this map without just being like 130, which is a lot of time to be over by 120. I guess I could potentially see myself being able to stall because I'm not yet at the machine. So there we go. 5 seconds. That's fine. I got the feeling they're gonna rock pull Doro like they did my boy Kong. Rock pull how? Like make compass farming not good?
welcome to the Clockwork Ballet. How can I help you?
Kong used to be so good. Creation and bosses only is...
Welcome to the Clockwork Ballet.
I haven't heard anything about God of Machine this league. Isn't Machine, wasn't Machine like the original Florissant memory farm?
Conflicts carry the weight of both honor and shame.
Like I haven't heard if it's bad or good this season. And Creation Engine, I mean, Creation Engine is kind of, is from what I tested, it was okay, but it also just had some really insane like dry streaks you could get. You test machines this weekend? Let me know how it goes, actually. Quite curious. Because I have actually heard nothing about it this league. And I think it's funny because I typically hear a lot about Kong. But I also don't think I've heard much about Kong since the last time Kong was on the banner. So I think it's been 2 seasons since I really heard like people really just talking about Kong. But I don't think they can rock pull Doro simply because Doro is compass farming and compasses will always be needed. You know, unless they like Giga rework the end game and now it's no longer compasses and whatnot. Tested creation, triple gold compass, and is roughly 2k FE. That's why I asked about FE per hour. I mean, 2k FE an hour is honestly pretty decent. Like on gold clockwork currently, I'm at like, I think I average like 2.5, 2.9. They're about like 2.5 to 3k ish per hour. But that is, you know, with complete blue compasses and compass prices being as out of whack as they are now. Go Rockpool with Dream and Carjack. I mean, that is fair, but I do think these are mechanics that, well, aside Dream, Carjack, I think still has potential as a farm, because I feel like if it didn't, then compass prices wouldn't be as insane as they are. That being said, I do think the compasses are probably priced around very high pet levels, as well as high tier farming, so either profound or deep space, and I don't know if it's deep space or not. I know like clockwork as an example, purple and golden compasses, they're both deep space compasses right now. You can't touch them unless you're in deep space, and I don't really want to farm deep space if I'm being very honest, but maybe eventually I will test my hand at it, maybe.
Conflicts carry the weight of both honor and shame.
The wind will blow away all traces of your existence.
That is a 3 I needed in a row. I need to figure out how I'm going to do the other 3 so I can get my golden compasses or golden vouchers. Honestly, might just try to beeline it because I don't think I want to do the whole walking back and all of that. Yeah, we actually did it in time. Alice? There we go. I mean, like it was good in regular TAs during the season and now it's deep space only. You mean Outlaw? Yeah, Carjack is in a very different place from the actual league. Which is why personally I'm very hesitant on getting any pets that are for the current league mechanic.
1, 2, 3. I can almost smell the alluring fragrance of copper tears coming from you. Perhaps we can be friends once you've turned to dust. Welcome to Cloud Oasis! Hey, lighten up! Welcome to Cloud Oasis!
The last one I did was a blue. We need to do the blues.
Don't worry. That world is not scary. It's just a long, long time of loneliness. Courageous.
Let's do the purple. Ooh, Alice proc.
All traces of your
What, dude? What's that?
Enjoy this moment. The champion deserves the honor.
I think realistically, there's current end game farms are kind of so awkwardly balanced. I don't know what the solution is. I really don't know what the solution is, but I think that I don't like the cost of. I don't like that so many strategies are locked behind deep space currently. I think it's a very, very bad current balance, because you would think, oh, the golden compass is definitely, like for clockwork as an example, the golden compass is and should be locked behind deep space, which is fine. I don't mind that. But the fact that the intermediate compass that they designed to be cheaper than, you know, the end game farm to be more accessible and all these other things, the fact that that guy is locked behind deep space as well is kind of just, that defeats the purpose so hard. Like, what? Like, I'm 6/6 Alice and Doro, but I can't touch purple in. Like, if I do purple in profound, I might not lose, you know, I'm making so little money that it's not even worth it compared to like just throwing blue compass at the wall.
wings will blow away all traces of your existence.
Even if Lunaria looks 6, just afraid of the nerfs, well, I can 100% understand that. 100%.
What strikes when you bring us here, esteemed member? Make us lucky. May I have everyone's attention, please? This esteemed member is paying for everything you order tonight.
Conflicts carry the weight of both honor and shame.
Don't worry, that world is not scary. It's just a long, long time of loneliness.
I'm just going to kill Sandlord and hope that by the time I'm actually done, I will reach a point on the machine that I wouldn't mind waiting to sub 1 minute. 10 seconds. I guess 10 seconds is okay. I like how I can just AFK. I can never forget how much of a pain she was early league. But like being able to just stand there while she does whatever and it just doesn't matter makes it all worth it. It's going to be hard to go from this, where I'm just Giga scaling Origin and I have Frost Mages with me with Giga levels. It's going to be very difficult for me to justify going for any other combination of Magi and not include Frost Magi. Like, now that I've been exposed to this playstyle, I don't know. You know, it's kind of hard to go back. Like the typical playstyle for ES is that you take damage, and now that you're taking damage, you're just watching your ES go down until 4 starts, kicks you back up. You know, it's just like, oh, it's going down, then it's going back up, and then you have to like find other ways like Barrier of Radiance to make sure it actually just keeps going back up or whatever else. But right now, I'm getting like 30% of my ES every second. Like 30%, maybe slightly more, of my ES every single second as regen. This is not recharge, this is just regen from my Frost Magi. And this is the DPS Frost Magi that is not stacking Origin. Full DPS. No Origin stacking, nothing. Or no recharge, just... It's kind of insane. No friend of the Spirit Magi, no superpower, none of that. It's just DPS, 5 supports, gems that are all damage related. Now imagine if I was actually juicing it as what's it called? Origin and superpower and all these other things. Imagine just how much regen I would have. All right, I think we're getting to the point where we can actually start liquidating. Almost. Because what I want to do now is I want to start actually attempting to beat SS21. And what do I need for that? I mean, I was never going to get anything insane like Undetermined Fates today because that would cost way too much. But is there anything for the now that I think I would like for that fight, or do I just send it? Off the top of my head, not really. There's really nothing. Best I can do is clean up my Origin from this small Origin nodes on my destinies, my kismets, so that I only have 9% from all my current micros. That is like the best I can do, but like even at that, I would only gain like maybe 5-8 Origin, which is a make or break. But it does put me a lot closer to Rock's cap, so there's that at least. And like it's slightly more regen and it's slightly more damage, but it's so negligible that if it's free, I'll do it. If it's not, I won't. I think that is ultimately what we're gonna do. AC, BC. I guess we do GC. AC, I guess we do that. And now we just spent 100k coins in sending these guys out, but we still have 25 days left or 300k funds. 300k is actually not that much, so I think that's the last time I'll spend coins sending out a shipment. I'm not gonna do it anymore. I'm going to just try to only rely on cooldown from here on out. Okay. In the meantime, though, should we do some liquidating? I think we don't need to do liquidating. Not really. I have this thing which I wanted. Everything is still T0. I would like to get this sequence, if I'm being very honest. I would really like to do that, but if it's not time, it's not time, I guess. We still don't have a single Iris-1 SS21 kill, which is kind of crazy. I will be the SS21 killer. Anyways, Spirit bless, we need ya. Is there anyone else we should be wary of? You. We need to change to you for the extra aggro range. Then everything else I think is fine the way it is. And here's the tip I was talking about earlier. In order to guarantee not take aggro from this boss on spawn, all you have to do is stand right here behind this glass. That's all you have to do. He'll aggro on your minions instead of you. Oh, I forgot. I need to switch to frigid transmission. That's the last one. Kid on that boss. Yeah, it's actually that simple. Who would have thought?
With your blood, I shall reforge my edge.
Don't worry. We're still making preparations. I'm back.
Bro, I trolled that. I trolled. I big trolled. God damn it. I forgot to do it. I forgot to do it. SS went up to 20 and that is when they are 21. 21 has always been there. It's just never been required and it's still not required. Like you don't gain any points for doing it.
Which sunken corpse has surfaced this time?
Is he? Why is he aggroed on me? Wait, hold up. Can you explain why you what you have against me, my dude?
With your blood, I shall reforge my edge.
Get your butt over here.
With your blood, I shall reforge my edge.
The goal is to keep the swords in a very controlled area if you can.
With your blood, I shall reforge my edge.
Okay. Yeah. That's kind of what was always going to happen the moment he ramped up that much. But yeah, I do get to that stage frequently. I just need to be able to clean up after that.
These surging red waves shall be the
Yeah. We actually did it properly this time around. And in case it wasn't obvious, the reason we switched from blink to frigid transmission is with frigid transmission, we have the option of
With your blood, I shall reforge my edge.
we have the option of short blinking, whereas we blink we don't. We blink you're just always going a set distance, or I don't know if you can go more than the set distance, but you can't go any shorter than that allotted distance. Whereas with frigid transmission, you very well can.
Hello there.
Definitely not terrifying. Holy. Definitely not terrifying. Oh, good.
My blood. Forge the blade anew.
With the number of times I've redone this fight, trust me, I don't take as much dot damage from like IRL dot damage from actually restarting the fight simply because I've done it so much at this point. Like I've actually done it so much at this point.
With your blood, I
I'm in danger.
God damn it. Lol.
These surging red waves shall be the last thing you see. With your blood, I shall reforge my edge.
Notice how now I've basically started moving my minions to a location so that he basically aggroes there, and all the swords end up clustered up in that area, leaving a lot of the rest of the battlefield free for me to do whatever I need to do with it.
With your blood, I shall reforge my edge.
Like now all the swords are there, so I just need to stay away from that corner. Woo! We made it, and we still have the big one.
With your blood, I shall reforge my edge.
This is the scary part. So I'm just going to do this real quick to make sure we do not die. Well, never mind. We did it so well. Woo! We actually did that so well. Ooh.
Don't worry. We're still making preparations.
And now we're undoing all the progress we had. God damn it.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
All right. What were the... Do I need to change anything else? That's it, right?
My blood. Forge the blade anew. Take this. With your blood, I shall reforge my edge.
Push them over to that corner.
Take this.
Bro. Now you have to explain to me how on earth he just freaking turns there. Because it don't make no sense. He goes back, he goes forward, he goes back, he goes forward. You know what it is. I think what I'm going to have to do is at some point in this fight, what happened there is this procced. Because it procced, it repositioned them around him. Because now they're repositioned around him, he's still targeting the same one, right? So because he's targeting the same one, now that one, they're going back and forth here. He goes here, it's here. This procs because preparation, now it's here. So then he still targets it, but now it's in my path.
Which sunken corpse has surfaced this time?
So when I get late enough in the fight, I think I'm going to take that off. Because at that point, I'm already almost full manually using it manually anyways. Because I'm trying to control where they're going.
With your blood, I shall reforge my edge.
Holy. Not my pet trying to freaking give me. With your blood, I shall reforge my edge. Beautiful. Beautiful. This is the point where I just take you off because I clicked and it didn't acknowledge my click.
With your blood, I shall reforge my edge.
Ooh. Okay. God damn. Once it's clustered in that way, it is so difficult to do anything. Like literally anything. But we are this close. We're so close to be able to kill it.
We're still making preparations.
Oh, I fucked up. He's targeting me.
With your blood, I shall reforge my edge.
What comes?
Not bad. I get to reset the fights.
Which sunken corpse has surfaced this time?
We're going to take this off for now.
With your blood, I shall reforge my edge. With your blood, I shall reforge my edge.
I'm back.
God damn it. I got impatient. I got very impatient.
These surging red waves shall be the last thing you see. Take this! With your blood, I shall reforge my edge. Take this! With your blood, I shall reforge my edge. Take this! With your blood, I shall reforge my edge.
This should be beautiful. That is very well done, if I do say so myself. Turn around, let's go. Ooh.
Take this! Listen! Millions of souls are wailing in the pool of blood.
I'm in danger!
Fucking GG. Holy, SS21 is done. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. And we cheesed the fuck out of it. But we did it. That was us. That was fucking us. Holy, my first SS21. I wasn't even expecting the 3-star anymore. But I did it. That was such a shit fight. There is no part of me that thinks that fight was even remotely good. Nah, G. Miss me with that. What happened? Oh. That's what happened. So what did we get from that? Decisive moments, Lunaria, portraits, voucher, jagged primos. Who would have thought? Oh yeah, it's just cosmetics. It's like I said, it's not necessary. You don't have to do it. It's completely mandatory. I signed up for the suffering. You only need to get to 20. If you beat 20, you've gotten your chest. Like you've gotten your chest once you beat 20. This is just, there is no reason to do it aside bragging rights, I guess. This is my first SS21. I've never done it before, but now I can say I have. I was just going for 2 stars if I'm going to be honest. But hey, this is the first and only season I'm going to see my name up top of Supreme Showdown. Undisputed. There is nobody that can overtake me because I 3-starred it. Feels amazing. Feels very cheese as well. I mean, you guys saw exactly what I had to do to get that, from swapping items whenever I thought I needed more tank to swapping. I swapped anything and everything. I made sure he targeted my minions. I made sure I perfectly controlled the sword positioning in a way that non-minions wouldn't be able to do by just shifting it to the left and just always pushing them there. I think in the last fight, I didn't even have this. I just took off activation medium preparation entirely because like this, I realized was fucking me up way more than it was actually helping me. And once I removed this, I had full control over, like I had way more control over my minions positioning. And by removing that and actually having more positioning or more control, you saw how those last sword phases were. Everything was on the left. Everything was on the left. So if at any point it was activating this automatically, it would have fucked me up at any point. But I'm happy I didn't even need to swap like items. I didn't need to swap to, let's say, what's it called? At no point of it did I need to say, okay, so I need to swap to defensives or whatever because of the sword positioning. So that was really nice. Holy. Wait, Doll Deep Space Probe comes from Goddess of Hunting in Deep Space? Huh. Who would have thunk it? Very big brain tech. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think once I figured out exactly how to make it so he targeted my minions, it was just a matter of time before I beat it. All right, let me just make sure everything is as I expect it to be, and then I'll make a build code for this SS21. And I think what I'm going to try to do is towards the weekend for this week or early next week, I'm going to try to make an overall summary for this character. Talk about my experience, talk about the pain points, because there were a lot of pain points when it came to scaling Frost Magi. But they also, for the pain points, they were also like really, really just nice, comfy things that happened, like the regen that is a consequence of my decision to scale Frost Magi, being able to scale as much origin as I am, stuff like that. I think everything is fine, if I'm being honest. There is no item that I have equipped or that I have equipped that I didn't use. So I think it's fine to make a build code. SS21. Is this the final code? I don't know if it's the final code, but SS21 decoding Frost Magi. Holy! One of the worst parts of the entire build journey, if I had to say, was just switching from ultimate to enhanced, because that felt so ass what I did. For context, Hollow Edge, you know how I don't know if you're here when I was talking about the downsides for ultimate, but the biggest problem you encounter when scaling ultimate is, even no matter how much CDR you have, no matter how much CDR scaling you give your minions and whatnot, you will always end up at the situation where it is not enough to hit damage cap. It's enough that you can maybe clear all Supreme Showdowns. I beat SS20 whilst I was still on ultimate. But I beat SS20 when I was still on ultimate. Switch back to Sprite. But I was just 1 star and I couldn't 3-star it because of the limitations. And now, to talk a bit about the limitations that I faced when I was on ultimate, basically, TLI has a very weird damage problem. In the sense of damage cap is not capped at 15t DPS. If it was, life would have been so much easier. But it is not. What it is, by the way, I will close this game and I will reopen it. And the reason I'm closing and reopening it is simply because there's an update. It wasn't because of any update, I'll tell you that much. The reason I closed and opened it is because I wanted to reset the log file. Because if I open my loot filter or FE tracker, it is going to count all that time I spent trying to kill SS21, which is unideal. Okay, so as I was saying, TLI has a damage problem in that the damage cap is not 15t per second. It is 3t per 0.2 seconds, which means if you actually want to hit 15t DPS, you're going to have to, at a minimum, hit 5 times a second. This is problematic because ultimates as a skill gets a shit ton of upfront damage, like a ton of damage. But the caveat is it doesn't hit that frequently. So for me, I got my ultimate cooldown to about 0.75 seconds, give or take. This meant every 3 seconds, I was hitting 4 times. This effectively capped my DPS potential at 90. Which, I mean, 90 DPS is nothing to sneeze at, that's for sure. But it's also nowhere near 15t DPS. There's still a good chunk of scaling at 15t DPS at that point. So this effectively meant if I wanted to beat SS23 stars and go for SS21, I needed to pivot from ultimate to enhanced. The problem is on the same build, the same skill as on some T0s with like the affixes I had for ultimate, which were for the most part all relevant for enhanced skill. I took my 3T per hit ultimate skill and I took it down to 200B DPS for enhanced. And the moment I did that, I was just like, yo, fuck that. What do you mean I'm going for 3T per hit to 200B DPS? Like every second I'm doing 200B out of all the hits we're doing? Nah, G, miss me with that. And that was the reality until I realized that I just decided I was just going to stick with Grow With Me. Grow With Them is such an insane node, especially compared to this shit one called Wind Rider. Like, even though I have +2 hero trait levels, this fucker is not worth it. This guy will 100% keep my nourishment to the sky. Like, nourishment is not going to fall whilst using Wind Rider. But this one means all my origin scaling, all of it is affecting nourishment, which is 30% additional damage. So, and just for context, all my generic spirit magi origin scaling equates to 333%. So that means effectively 60% of this is affecting nourishment. So if I go 333 times 0.6, we're down to 200, basically 199. We're going to use 200. That is effectively 30 times 3. So this is what nourishment I'm currently getting from nourishment. Whereas if I were to switch to Wind Rider, not only do I now take 5% more damage, I also just take this and I drop it down to 30, which is a very big DPS loss. So I said, fuck it. And I just went back to Grow With Them. Now that I was using Grow With Them, I had this simple problem of this was running out too quick. So what did I do? I dropped cast speed as any mad lad would. I'm trying to hit 5 times a second and I'm dropping cast speed. Make sense. But that's what I did. I dropped cast speed. This one had cast speed before. I said, fuck that. Now it has erosion damage. This still has cast speed, but it also has negative multi-cast speed. And I absolutely refused to get minus the corroded version of this, simply because this would turn my negative, like my less cast speed, to 1% more cast speed. And I just didn't think we could handle that amount of cast speed. So I just said, you know what? No. So I kept a regular troublemaker that was bound, because screw that. I really wanted the additional damage, but I was like, it's not worth the cast speed. Sounds like cast speed is a big downside, and it is. It really is. I wish it wasn't, but it is. Then I went on to fully scale all my cooldowns, because cooldown is big. Why cooldown is big is because if I can get this guy to proc faster, then the chances of this getting to 0 become a lot less. And that's essentially what we did. So we scaled as much cast speed as cooldown recovery as we could to make sure this would not get to 0. So that involved taking this from a 17 to a 24. I spent 2k to imprint literally 7% cooldown recovery. 2 fucking KFE. Shit was not cheap. Just to go from 17 to 24. I spent another like 2k trying to get this higher than 19. I never saw this mod again. So I don't know if I have to remove the mod before I see it again. I never did. I don't know. I feel like you should be able to see modifiers you currently have while you're rolling, but I actually have never tried, so I don't know for a fact that you can't do it. So I just assumed you couldn't, and I left it as is, because I wasn't about to remove it and realize I couldn't put it back. Past that, it was a long process just trying to get everything to T0. It was not easy. But now that I've beaten SS21, yeah, very proud about that. Very proud about that. At least Iris 1 is SS21 viable on minions. I kind of wish I could see what other people would see looking at my character, but I mean, it's fine. Now our season is officially over. That being said, am I done farming TLI? There's only one more goal I could even possibly have in this TLI season, and that is trying to do gold clockwork in deep space. That is like the only thing I could see myself doing with what do you call it? It's the only thing I can see myself doing with my character. But I also think it's fine to end my season here, simply because I got my first SS21. Let me flex that real quick. I got a portrait, right? A border. Rewards. I'm going to use this so much because I know the pain I went through trying to get it. It was not worth it. I will say it again. I still need to do CD7. And I don't think Arcane is online. Is he? No, he's not. Let me ask this guy if he's down for CD7. That is the only thing I have left to do in my season. Now what do we do? Because I kind of don't want to farm just for the sake of farming. I don't think I have the damage that I would need to properly do gold, compass, deep space, yada yada yada. And I also don't think I have the survivability either. I think now where I am in the game, I actually could see myself doing it with my defense, with being this defensive oriented. I can see it. You know, it's very, very possible. Which, by the way, this was also just genius on my part, switching my auras from what they were to what they are now. Being able to switch my auras from having 3 auras to 2 auras and using both Magi here, and then taking advantage of concentrated, so I had even more ES, as well as being able to now use safety number since it's on mana instead of life, but still using Rock Magi to keep my life not full so that my chest piece still damages my Magi, while also making sure I didn't lose damage by replacing the aura with Machine Army effectively, which is, once you pair Mass Effect and Well-Fought Battle, just like 5%, is a 5% lower additional number. Like, well, I think it was 61% for Machine Army, whereas this was like, what's it called? Like 61 or something like that, whereas the aura was like 66% more damage. And concentrated more than made up for that difference.
You know, your friends there on occasion shatter.
Holy. Team up. What's that? City defense dungeon is currently active. Oh, they found. I don't really need to do level 2, level 3, level 4. I need to do level 4. It's funny how this is how far I got to on week 1. Or actually, this was right after the first weekend. I think at some point I was actually first. Was I first? I wasn't first, but I was high up on the rankings. Like I was very high up, like top 10. Was I first? I don't fully remember. But I was quickly overtaken because we only got to level 4 and I didn't try further. While we wait for the person I messaged, let's do some farming, shall we? Oh, I haven't actually done this yet. All right, let's see what Oasis has in store for me, shall we? First thing, not a lot. Okay. Nothing crazy, that's for sure. Sure. I'm on. Just all right, so he is ready. I clicked the wrong one. Or did I? I will take my battle, thank you very much.
Holy moly!
Holy 50.
We've witnessed many final moments like that. Some were our friends.
Ooh, 4 battles? I have no idea why it took so long to kill that last guy. All right, we're going to leave these guys alone. We made 568 from this one Sandlord instance. It's kind of nutty. I think he's in a much stronger spot than I am when it comes to my build. He is Iris too. I'll just be everything. I told you. It was a difficult AF fight. Wanna try disbanding? Maybe you have Machine Lord still equipped. Because if you call the enemy, then it could be a Machine Lord angle. So I think that solved it. But yeah, if you're going from just FE per hour, Sandlord is definitely the highest simply because, well,
We've witnessed many final moments like that. Some are our friends, some are enemies.
probably. Nothing can realistically get past us aside snipers. It's okay, I believe.
Perhaps we can be friends once you've turned to dust.
You on Radical Order?
We've witnessed many final moments like that. Some are our friends, some
Radical would probably be good here for aggro range. If AFK. Oh yeah.
the winds will blow away all traces of your existence. Don't worry, we're still making preparations.
I'm so happy I was able to do everything I did on the one season that I didn't go Lone Walkers. Kind of just goes to show, even on weaker characters, you don't need Lone Walkers. Though that said, I wonder how much easier the journey would have been if I had used Lone Walkers. He is so quick with his attack speed. The I2 advantage.
Don't worry, we're still making preparations. Perhaps we can be friends once you've turned to dust.
Yo, pushing to 7. Yep, that's the plan.
Don't worry, we're still making preparations.
Five from Lone Walker and Slots, and I assume 2 from
It's just a long, long time.
Kismet.
You know, the void is not truly empty. You can meet your friends there on occasion, but they
Pretty sure you can't, but haven't actually done so.
the winds will blow away all traces of your existence. Don't worry, we're still making preparations. Don't worry, that world is not scary. It's just a long, long time of loneliness.
All right, that's one CD done. How hard is it? CD7 is not hard if you know what to look for. Like CD7, I would say you need, like, if both of you are doing it and you have, like, you know, equal damage, I would say if you both of you have like 10T, it's doable for CD7. And aside 10T, you need to know what to look out for in the form of, like, the dangerous monsters to when turrets spawn. Turrets in particular make CD7 is easy until turrets spawn, and then if you don't know what you're doing, it becomes impossibly difficult. And you might even know what you're doing. If you don't have the damage, that's a second thing as well.
Many final moments like that. Some were our friends, some our enemies.
But yeah, I would say it's not that hard if you have the damage for it. If you don't have the damage for it, it's annoying. And on minions, it can be a lot easier and it can be a lot more frustrating depending on what minion you use. As an example, I have no issues using Frost Magi. I have no issues using Rock Magi. But if you wanted to use Lightning, it could be a bit more frustrating because turrets have proxy shields. And that just by itself makes it a more annoying encounter.
We've witnessed many final moments like that. Some were
Like that guy had a proxy shield. On Lightning, it means you would have to actually cast Dazzling Bloom, whereas on everybody else that's melee, they just walk up into the range and kill whatever needs to be killed.
a long, long time of loneliness.
Could a Glass Cannon 15T build be okay? If you have a tanky duo, yes. If you don't, no. The reason I say no is because you have snipers and these snipers have bombs, and if you have minions that can eat said bombs, you should be fine because you can't allow your those bombs. You can't allow your core eat the damage from them.
Don't worry, we're still making preparations. Perhaps we can be friends once you've turned to dust.
All right, I'm going to handle the snipers.
Don't worry, we're still making preparations. The winds will blow away all traces of your existence. We've witnessed many final moments like that. Some were our friends, some nothing else. We've witnessed. Perhaps we can be friends once you've turned to dust.
Wait, so those guys lived because they had a proxy shield? Interesting.
Don't worry, that world is not scary. It's just a long, long time of loneliness. witnessed many final moments like that. Some were our friends, some our enemies. The winds would blow away all traces of your existence.
I think that's it.
Witnessed many final moments like
Now we have how many more CDs to go? 2 more to go. People saying SS21 down easier than I thought. I hear you finish your SS21. Yep. Killed it just before. To be fair, I've been trying for like a week now. And Star Trails. That boss requires so much investment to tank and still have enough damage for. I was kind of it's kind of wild how blatant his RMT it is. I would have been very surprised if you had a hard time.
Don't worry. That world is not scary. It's just a long, long time of loneliness.
I did clear like this pretty big difference. Can you skip all dot phases? Question mark.
We've witnessed many final moments like that. Some were our friends. Some our enemies. Perhaps we can be friends once you've turned to dust.
A team of snipers.
Don't worry, we're still making preparations. The winds will blow away all traces of your existence.
I was very off damage cap.
Don't worry, we're still making
Woo!
preparations.
God damn it.
Perhaps we can be friends once you've turned to dust.
I saw every those fees, but I placed them using my Magi.
We've witnessed many final moments like that. Some were our friends. Some our enemies.
This is the one I just did. Okay. Oh shit, he uploaded it. All right, I'm gonna check it out.
The winds will blow away all traces of your existence. We've witnessed many final moments like that. Some were our friends. Some, don't worry, we're still making preparations. can be friends once you've turned to dust.
I'll check it out after this CD. Kind of crazy just how tanky I am and how tanky I did not feel during that fight.
Not scary. It's just a long, long time of loneliness.
I don't know how much tank I still have to get, or I can still get once I start fiddling around with undetermined fates. I imagine not a lot, because that's the reason I never went for the undetermined fates. I can see myself getting a decent chunk of damage, but not really tank. Because the problem with getting a decent chunk of tank is there really aren't kismets that would help my tank all that much. I can maybe get damage and then shred some for tank. The problem with doing that is I think the DPS requirement for golden clockwork is just insane as well. So like,
We've witnessed many final moments like that. Some were our friends. Some, don't worry, we're still making preparations.
all right, let's see what his SS21 looked like. 5 micro, 1 medium, I think. 5 micro, 1 medium. I was thinking 1 medium, 1 micro, because I really like the idea of going star trails, but like at the same time, there isn't much defensive value in mediums rather. All my ups, they did. I mean, they did. I actually finally beat SS21. So all my ups, they fucking did. Let's get this to 720 stable. How much injury buffer does he have, I wonder? A lot, it looks like. A lot of injury buffer. What are his Magi even attacking at this point? Wait, look. His effective life, like his injury buffer is to the point where it's empty, but his life here is actually still full. Like, it's still full because he's just out regening the delayed damage. It's very hard to even see this number move looking at it. Let's do 1080. The quality can't be this bad. Like, look, it finally moved. And the moment he moves, it goes back to full. Which means unless he actually gets one shot, he's not dying in this fight. He still can get one shot, which is why he didn't collect on his first try. But yeah, he has a lot of tank. Everybody who watched me do this fight knows just how much damage this phase is. That he's just casually tanking. Why is his inventory so full? Holy. Are we just not gonna talk about why your inventory is that full? Why are you rewatching that video, my dude? Gives me nothing.
That world is not scary. It's just a long, long time of loneliness.
You know something I actually wanted to check in that video? I wanted to see just how much time he had left when he was done with SS21 to see just how off I was with my run. Because I was very far from being... I was very far from... Not very far, but like I think I was probably like 25T out of... I was probably like 25T out of 30T DPS cap on that fight, probably.
The winds will blow away all traces of your existence.
Dude, the FPS stutters. I think there's going to be a cannon in this round. GG on SS21. Thank you. Shit was pain. I spent a good chunk of my day today just fighting that shit, because like right from early in the afternoon, but like let's say 1 p.m. ish. And for context, chat, it is currently 9 p.m. my time. We beat SS21 at like 8ish. From like 1 p.m. up until 5ish, I was doing nothing but attempts. And keep in mind, I was getting this shit to as low as like 30%, 25%. There was even this one-star run that should have gotten me to that should have been a kill, but in the swap to my helmet, they weren't quite in core range just yet, apparently, and that led to like a DPS loss. I switched back, but apparently I had my erosion Magi off, so I lost a ton of DPS, and like she was rough. Shit was very rough.
We've witnessed many final moments like that. Some were our friends, some our enemies. The winds will blow away all traces of your existence. We've witnessed many final moments like that. Some were our
I kind of wish I could still freeze.
enemies.
'Dude, I have 6 FPS. Where did all my FPS go?
Scary. It's just a long, long time of loneliness. We've witnessed many final moments like that. Some were our friends, some our enemies.
Holy FPS. It's a good thing I can tank basically everything.
Perhaps we can be friends once you've turned to dust.
12 FPS gaming. Let's go.
Don't worry, we're still making preparations. Don't worry, we're still making preparations. Don't worry, that world is not scary. It's just a long, long time of loneliness.
This is going to be turret phase is next. Dude, this FPS is insane.
Perhaps we can be friends once you've turned to dust.
All right, we actually killed all 4 in time. Ooh, I didn't think that was possible. Dude, what is this FPS though? I can't even move.
Don't worry, we're still making preparations.
Well, at least I'm still doing damage. And at least I'm tanky enough to not die. But Jesus, the FPS is in the gutter. I played a slideshow.
The winds will blow away all traces of your existence.
GG. I think we beat it. Basically flawless victory. That was easy. Easy as CD7.
The stars that vanish at dawn return once more at nightfall.
All right, we've done this. Now we can buy our pack spirits. You know, realistically, I should have honestly gone for this before I did my SS21, because this is just leaving damage on the table. That being said, the likelihood that I would use this chest for anything that would have helped me in that fight is very, very slim. Why do I say that? Because I could do the responsible decision and just click Anubis +1, call it a day. But where's the fun in that? Rather than do that, you know what I'm probably going to do? Actually, hold that thought. What I want to do is I want to use this chest to pick up Poisoned Omen, because 1 additional curse is huge. Less damage taken from cursed enemies is also probably going to be very big, especially in situations like this SS, where I was just looking for damage and defense. That would have been nice. So I am thinking about it. Or I could just level up Anubis as well. That is something else I could just do, because my next Anubis level will give me 8% more damage. Just straight up 8% more damage from where I currently am. Poisoned Omen, on the other hand, will give me additional curse. For future, it'll give me this as an option for future builds. But here's the thing: this is the conundrum I end up facing in situations like these. I can go for Poisoned Omen because it's easy and it's an easy source of +1 curse. But I also know many people don't have it, and if because I know it's a pack spirit. Because I know it's a packed spirit, I'm very hesitant to say, okay, I'm going to rely on this and this build, because if anyone is following me, they can't replicate that. That said, when I start getting to the upper echelon of like skin, like where I am currently, I don't even expect anyone to be following me. Like realistically, there are probably people who are following, who might be following my POB to where I currently am and just trying to, you know, churn their way up. It's possible, but it is unexpected, you know? No idea, to be honest. I1 was kind of difficult getting to SS21 levels. But I think I would like to experience gold clockwork in DS. But for that, I need way more damage and defense. No idea if I can even scale to 100T, for example. Let me send him my build code.
We're fond of this sky. The stars that vanish at dawn return once more at nightfall.
Just put the Anubis in the bag. We're going Iris 2 erosion next league. There's literally no conundrum. Even if I'm going, if I am going Iris 2 next league, like Anubis is still good for it, but like so is Poison Omen towards the end. Yeah. But anyways, because like at the end of the day, once we start getting to the higher to like upper scaling potentials, Veil tends to fall off. And like in my SS21 push, I didn't use Veil. I ended up switching to Spirit Bless for the extra ES because there's no universe where I was going to drop Origin, and there was no universe where I was going to drop additional damage. So Veil was just the one that was left. That said, I could also maintain my growth without her if I just moved a bit. So that also helped me do what I wanted to do. But like in a situation where I'm going for my next build, if I want +1 curse in some situations would be more damage than 60 growth if I'm not using the trifecta of growth scaling being Circle of Life, Troublemaker plus Talons of the Abyss. Those three. And next league, what I think I'm going to end up scaling, if I'm being very honest, is I think next league I'll be going for synthetic troops. Not 100% sure, but very likely. It's um 1 minus 0.565. Troops are super good. I'm already at around 100T. Oh shit, table. Congratulations. 100T is kind of crazy work. I think next league, that's what I want to do. I haven't decided what troop I want to go for next league. And honestly, hearing about you guys struggle with getting the right troops with the right mods just sounded like something I didn't want to engage with. It sounds pain. And thank you. But it sounds pain. Um, it allows for some nutty empower skill CDR scaling. I'm pretty sure I can hit 1Q if I push it all the way. What is your plan for dropping Silent Aval? Because I know you mentioned you're going to drop it. Oh, that's Vaka. Oh, you went friend Nemesis? You don't have a corroded Lone Walker yet. How much are corroded Lone Walkers? What is wrong with this? Something is wrong with this price check. I just don't know what. And I think it's the number one. Oh wait, it's not one. It's 2 for 2, is it not? Hmm. Where is that corroded mod? Where are the expensive ones? Oh, I see. Add corroded on fit under. Okay. That plus radical order. Oh shit. You can get it for 18k? 15k. 22k will get you a 26 corroded aura effect. I mean, I think next league I'm going back to aura stacking. Probably go I2. Fire Magi, probably. I'm thinking. Maybe not. Maybe I go I1 synthetic troops. Maybe I go Moto synthetic troops. Probably not Moto, because Moto's movement speed is the one where I'm just like, I don't want to deal with it. Yeah, I think it's very affordable this league. Like last league, that shit was way more expensive. Like way more expensive. But like that is doable actually. You definitely have some upgrade parts. Rare chests. How good is a rare chest going to be defensively? Like I have this rare chests. I mean, for my setup, I just can't replace this guy. Because replacing this is like dropping a stupid amount of damage. Like just having the enhanced empower skill constantly proccing literally is invaluable, and I think that is, for me, problematic. It becomes very, very difficult. Does your ultimate not have a second ultimate mod? Minion level is ulti, I believe. All right. Yeah, it is. And the ulti suffixes. Anywho, so I think that's gonna be. I think that's gonna be it for today. Tomorrow we have to figure out what we're gonna do. I'm thinking we either just grind for deep space clockwork, or we react to stuff. I'm still very undecided. Right now, I am not going to enter another map today. So maybe not today, but like not now at least. I feel very accomplished with SS21 done and CD7. We've basically done everything that I could want to do for now. Past that, holy, there's been 10 SS21 Iris 2s. I wonder how much easier it is on Iris 2. I feel like if I went if I didn't troll out, like if I didn't go for like Frost Major, I probably would have gotten this maybe sooner with Malady potentially. Maybe. But like I don't regret going Frost by any means. Frost was really nice. It's definitely a build I can see myself going in the future when I forget just how it works, simply because I played it so much this league, I wouldn't want to touch it again. I took almost no damage reblock. The problem is when Aval failed and I took push. I think that's always the problem with Silent Aval. Like, that is the reason I refuse to touch it. I think variable defense in a game like Torchlight is very, very iffy. I don't touch evasion here. Like in other games, in other ARPGs, I would say avoidance is very important. In TLI, they throw so much shit at you and they allow you to have so much mitigation that there's really no point in having avoidance when you can just mitigate it well enough and recover well enough that it just doesn't matter, you know? That's where I see TLI, at least. If there was a small chance that I would just blow up due to RNG, that would piss me off. Whereas in my current setup, I had no variability. Well, I certainly agree now. Ooh. Silent Aval. I think the big advantage for Silent Aval is its offensive 40% more damage. It's really strong. But like that block is just, it's very rough. The fact that it prevents you from getting to 100% block chance is the problem. I kind of wish they made it so you could still get to 100% block chance, but your block ratio is capped at 75 or 70 or something like that, you know? If they did, because like I think the default caps are 100 chance 60 ratio, right? But I also think there are sources of additional ratio or something like that. Or am I mixing that up? By the way, table. How did it feel when you swapped off your ES slates? Your start charging ES at low ES. Did you notice a difference in survivability, or was it like I said? If your aura stacking red chest can match it, I wonder if my build would have been better if I just relied on aura stacking. Kind of don't want to now, because like I don't know if you've seen my setup, but I'm currently on two auras. I made the swap today. I previously had three auras and a Magi, because I didn't feel the need for four auras because I'm not using lone walkers. So I switched from that to two auras with concentrated. Then I used two Magi's, and then I used the free spot that I dropped the aura for this guy, because this ends up being about slightly less damage than the aura was, but concentrated makes up for the rest. But this way I had two empower skills to potentially switch to defensive skills if I needed to for any tanky phase. Can we access your paid builds, please? Well, I don't do paid builds, thank you very much. I couldn't try it yet because that's my fire, frost, lightning slate, so it turned off my... Oh? What is happening with my game? Oh, I see. Interesting. So you're the one that's applying dirty tricks, not your minions, right? I assume this means you also have your scaling frostbite rating on your tree. Frostbite effect rather. %20 here. Oh, you didn't go for 20%. You just went giga, micro, and medium. So you got more frostbite rating and a healthy chunk of frostbite effect, as well as a lot of it. Okay. I was going to question it, but like, this is pretty good if I'm being honest. The past like 2 seasons, I've been using my inverse image exclusively just to fit in more Magi's. Like exclusively just for this tech. I just enjoy having 5 Magi's. There's just something about it that I really like it. You know something wild about my build that I was thinking about the other time? My traits, my magnificent has to 6.5% less damage from my minions. That is a big less damage multiplier. That cuts my damage in less than half per hit. That said, this is still a DPS increase once all 3 hits land, because it does have 3 hits. But then I was thinking about how this has that big of a less multiplier, as well as this one also have bringing in a less multiplier. So like if you count all the sources of less damage I actually have on this build, it is shocking that with the orbs we were able to see 60 hits, like single hits on SS21. Because like, how do I have what is the total less more? This is 0.565 times 1 minus 0.212 I have a total of 65.7% less Magi damage. 65.7% less. So whatever the damage we get to, just cut that shit by 65.7. Our runs went so differently. I didn't go above 0 extra orbs because I was hitting zeros without them and didn't want the less move speed but died to everything. Okay. I can actually show what my run went like, I think. Do I even... Let's pull it up. Here's a tip for SS21 before I hop off. And this will be very useful to you, table. If you stand right here behind the glass and you spawn him, he's going to aggro on your minions, not you. He's aggroed on my minions. So I use this to place all the swords at this corner of my map. So we ended up in a situation where I was moving my minions with Dazzling Bloom. Let me see if I can actually find it though. There. That was very easy to find actually. So like this is where the fight, this is how the fight was going. I basically just placed, I was using them to place all the swords on the left side. So all his movement, everything was just limited to there except the sword phase. Then for the sword phase, it would typically have a better spread because most of the swords were on that left side. Like I would always move him to the left while I do my other things. I got so in tune with his mechanics that I could just keep him there. Premium build access only, Lamau. Is this actually the kill? I feel like it's not. Could be wrong. So all through this, I'm just manually pressing Dazzling Bloom to keep him in that corner. So all the swords are there. Every single sword is in that corner. All his dot pulls. I didn't have enough damage to skip dot phase, by the way. But like all the dot pulls, everything is in that corner. So when the sword phase starts, look at how beautiful this is. This spread. Look at all this free real estate I have on his second. I think this is the last spin. No, this is the last spin on the 3-1. Look at how much real estate I have. Now my job here is just to make sure I position him well, so that he uses all his sword abilities, moves all the swords to that corner, all of that. Make sure I dodge it myself, all of that. I almost choked here, by the way. But like, it was a perfect run for me. Because I'm not that tanky. Like I'm not going to eat many of his abilities. But if all his swords are literally here, keeping the arena free for me, then you know. When he started moving, I got very scared because I'm like, this is an easy place where I would die. And if I had preparation on my Dazzling Bloom, honestly, that would have killed me. There, I was just trying to get him back to doing his thing in the corner. Yeah, and then here I was just trying to make sure he was in calling range before I did anything. Because I have switched a bit too early and managed to literally botch my run because I switched too early. But yeah, there you go. AI is terrible and I also can't Dazzling Bloom. Oh, you don't have Dazzling Bloom. Yeah, you are on synthetic troops. But yeah, that was That was what I did. By being able to control all the shit, it became very manageable to deal with the swords, because that sword phase is terrifying, because towards the end he has so many swords that you just can't even pick up the orbs. I think I sent a message to Arcane earlier today where I was just like, my screen was filled with dots, filled with swords, just filled with everything, and then orbs were all around, and I was somehow expected to go pick them up. Like, how on earth was I supposed to do that? The reality is it just wouldn't happen. So I would have either had to have gotten more damage, or figure out all the intricacies I did about his entire kit, which I did by fighting him for like 5 hours today. That was how I figured out how to get like almost 100% chance. Like, that is how I figured out how to make sure he aggroes on my minions. That's how I figured out how that's what's it called, preparation was fucking me up. That's how I figured out that I could literally control where he is and placement, and how well the sword phase is when I just put him in that corner, just tuck him in that corner, and just make sure all his mechanics go there. I can skip doubles entirely, so I should be okay since I don't get one shot to things randomly. The things that would one shot me would typically be the swords, and if I take damage and then blink into a pool or something like that. But yeah, it was overall, honestly, I was about to say it's a fun fight. It's not a fun fight, but it was a fun league. That's for sure. I actually really enjoyed this league. I don't know what about the league I enjoyed as much as I did, but yeah, it was a good league. I will probably still try to play around with clockwork in higher tiers of maps, but we'll have to see if I actually feel like scaling my character to that point. And I think now that I've beaten SS21, I can actually just go ahead and get some immunities on, like, I can get immune to wilt on my ring now. I can replace growth there, keep what's her face permanently, because I no longer really need the ES pets. So I can now keep the growth pets permanently, get rid of my ring implicit, go for immune there. I don't know where I'd get immune to trauma, but I have some chance to avoid early ailments. I can try to use that to cap it. We'll see. No idea what he enjoyed. No fucking clue. I mean, I have Doro 6, yes. And I did enjoy playing around with Doro 6. That's for fucking sure. There's a reason I went for Doro 6. But I would say Doro is just a fun pet to have, period. Whether you have 1 or 6. I think aside from my very, very first league with Doro, where I didn't really know, where there weren't as many mechanics to utilize her in the form of God's Chest, and Hunt did not feel that rewarding to do, and I hadn't tried Blue Cogs either. Aside from that league, the league that predated FE Trackers, I would say Doro has just been a very fun pet to have, and I 100% recommend trying to get her whenever she's up. Now, she won't be up for another 2 seasons. She's not going to be up next season. Next season is Kong, but then the season after that, she should be. So if you don't have her, take good fucking time to get her. Like, honestly, she's actually so fun. And I know, and I say this knowing Arcane actually has Doro 1, and I know how much he has played with Doro. Like, I feel like Arcane has actually used more Doro than I have when you look in the context of like the percent of time we've played. I've actually gone out of my way to remove Doro here and there for different strategies. What'd you buy, huh? You've used Doro for a higher percent of your time than I have. I've actually done non-Doro strats. Do you know that? A very healthy chunk of non-Doro strats. If you even look at my map device, there's only how many strats are there that currently use Doro? There's Clockwork, and then there's God's Chest. Those two. I did God's Chest a lot, but I also did Sandlord a lot. I did Sandlord a lot more than you did. Aside Sandlord, I did Cube. I did 200-ish maps of cube, and as much as I didn't do as much creation engine as you, I still did a fair amount. I still did to like 200-300 maps of creation engine as well. You say it's copium? I think I'm right. I think I use a very I used a very healthy amount of Doro. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I didn't, but I think you've used Doro for a longer amount of time compared to, like, you know, percentage wise. I think you've used more Doro than I have this league. Anyways, guys, I'll be back tomorrow. Thank you so much for stopping by. Appreciate it. Till then, have a good night.